Welcome to another episode of the Inside Byte. Today I wanted to first go over Final Fantasy XIV. They just had the digital fan festival that ended yesterday for a bunch of EndWalker content. Um, Basically, they announced a release date stating November 23rd. Now, if you pre-order it, you'll be able to play November 19th. The next major expansion will have two new classes, right? The Healer Sage class and a melee DPS Reaper class that can summon a spiritual avatar. It looks pretty sick. Um, I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy 14. I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy in general, but 11, the MMO, I didn't play much at all or really care about it. Um, Maybe if I was into MMOs back in that time, maybe I would. But I can tell you right now, I have so many hours of Final Fantasy 14 now. I am playing catch up at the moment. I'm not up to the part where when this expansion hits, I'll be able to jump off, but I have enough time here because I got told November, and I should be able to hit it within a month of catching back up, playing it here and there. Obviously, if I grind it hardcore, I could beat it in a few days, but I'm taking it easy and I'll be alright. I got plenty of time. But I did want to at least show you guys some of the stuff here. Let's get my head a little. I'm actually gonna pull up here another video. This is actually a video highlighting the Reaper class right here. And I just love the artwork. Now, in general, Final Fantasy XIV has some of the coolest monster designs, character designs. It's what's got me really just enjoying the game because I'm one of those people when I'm playing this that I'm just taking the scenery in, taking tons of screenshots, tons of videos, and I'm just loving the world setting and the characters and stuff a lot more than just playing a raid or something like that. I'm a lot more about just enjoying the environment and characters and interactions and artwork and all of that of the game kind of side of it all. But I am super looking forward to it. I always love like a good necromancer class. And it's not exactly that, of course. It's a Reaper, but it's close enough. I'm definitely going to give it a shot. And sticking with online RPGs, Final, Final Fantasy, Fantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. Basically, their closed beta is going on right now. Actually, it just ended the weekend, so it went from Friday to Sunday. I tried playing it, and my computer's just not up to snuff. It's definitely a current gen title, meaning like PS5, Xbox Series X, and stuff. But I mean, I was able to get like 30 FPS with it, and it's still just running bad, even barely hitting 30 with like super low graphics and all that. And I was just like, eh. I mean, it comes out. Let's see, what's the date here? The end of June. There's no like exact date, but they are saying the end of June, and it's coming to PC and Xbox. Um, but I have watched a ton of footage here. I'm actually gonna pull up. This is the trailer. Let's pull up actual from it here. Here's someone playing the closed beta right now. There's what makes PSO so good is there's so many classes and they all play so incredibly different. And it's not a MMORPG necessarily. There are some sections of the map where there'll be a lot more than just like four players on it, but it's meant you party up to four people, you go through areas together, think like Borderlands or Diablo, something like that, right? But it's, guns, melee classes, from like sniper rifles to dual wielding pistols to a sword, right? But the combat, this is a huge step up. So PSO 2, I mean, they're keeping the name of PSO 2 and they're just adding new Genesis, but this is definitely just should be PSO 3. But I think the only reason they're keeping the name is because they're trying to stick with. I just think it's too big for Sega. It's their biggest moneymaker. And in Japan, this game is huge. And I think so. What they're doing too is you're able to transfer from world to world. Like, you're able to go between the original PSO 2 to this game back and forth with the same character. You don't keep the same like stats and levels and stuff, but you do keep the character, and there are some items that go between the two games. And you can Google it. There's a lot more detail than what I could go into real quick. But this has me like, I think this is my most hyped like of the year because I'm just such a fan of the series. And PSO2 is like 8 years old now at this point, if not 9. I can't remember exactly when it came out, but it is, let's just say it hasn't aged well. And from PSO 1 to 2, outside of graphics, which wasn't even that big of a graphic jump, it's pretty stale because I mean the game was built around Dreamcast days. Um, GameCube is like maybe the best you're gonna get in terms of like how dated the game is. So now we're actually getting like fluid combat and it looking great and running great and actually feeling like, I don't know, just a whole new game, right? So it's pretty hype. Uh, Next, I wanted to talk about Mass Effect yet again because it came out last Friday, so it's too hard to know like sales numbers, but it has hit the second highest concurrent player count for an EA game on Steam. So there is a lot of people buying and playing this game. Many previews are saying that it's a comeback for BioWare. Um, I'm saying previews because there's not really any reviews. People don't get their codes to even review it, the critics, till what, Monday, I think of what it was. And you're talking like over 100 hours of like going between the three games. And that's like being light on it. I'm sure you can get over 100. Now, me myself, I'm not going to a level of saying it's a comeback for BioWare because Mass Effect Armageddon, right? I mean, graphically, like, things were a little weird with the faces or whatever, but it's not like they were having an issue with the presentation necessarily, or that it looked bad, or that it ran bad, right? The biggest issue over anything is just the fact that, like, it was nowhere near the writing and lore and just moment to moment you being excited to see what's going to happen next and huge impactful things happening. It seemed pretty, I don't know, basic generic kind of game and didn't really seem like, you know, best RPG of it of all time kind of levels that 1 through 3 were, right? So anyway, what I'm getting at is them people saying like just because they cleaned up 1 through 3 and made it run better and look better doesn't mean they can just make a new one and it be to the quality of these games, because there's obviously a lot more work than just presentation. But I mean, I will give it to them. They did a really good job cleaning it up, but still making it feel like the games. And they changed a whole lot of UI stuff. They changed a whole lot of how you level up. They did a lot of tweaks and definitely really listened to the player base and all the little complaints that people had because it's been out for years and years of all the little nitpicks. They fixed the majority of them. So they do like are listening to people. They know what they're getting at, but we just don't know if they're going to deliver in terms of actually presenting a compelling story that's going to blow people away again like this trilogy did. So I'm not going as far as to saying they're back, baby, right? But we'll see. It should be noted in case you don't know for whatever reason, but they are working on 4, and there are a little teaser trailer out there, but it'll be a while till we see it. And hopefully they can go back to doing it. Now, it's not even the same people working on it. I mean, back then, all those people that worked at BioWare at the time are no longer even there. But as long as they know what made this series good and then they can replicate it, but also just add new story and new ideas, but keep it to the quality of this, then yes, sure, they'll have a great game, right? But we'll just have to wait and see. I don't have a lot of faith only because Andromeda was bad, and then what? Like, they definitely crapped the bed with Anthem. So we'll see. I mean, Anthem had good gameplay, and so did Andromeda. But again, the not just the story, not just what happens to the characters, but the attention to detail to the story. I guess all the little minute things where you're going through the codex or through the journal and you're actually wanting to do that. I'm never wanting to do that. That's my biggest issue when I'm playing video games. I'm never wanting to go into a codex and read a bunch of back lore. But because it's such a compelling story that they're presenting me, it makes me want to dig as deep as I possibly can. And that's the biggest surprise when I'm playing this Mass Effect trilogy. It's doing something I'm never doing in other games and actually caring about the back lore. Now, let's move on from Mass Effect here. I'm going to wrap things up soon, but I just wanted to show off a bit of this because I think this is going to be the next like big release that comes out in a few days. I think it's a week from now. Biomutant, May 25th. Yeah. And I just think, I don't know, it's rare to see an interesting 3D platformer that looks good. It's been a while. It's been since what, N64 days. There's been a few that's popped up, but still not one to really grab the general audience or even me for that matter. But I gotta say, they're doing a really good job of giving a compelling world and compelling characters and all of that stuff. So it looks nice, looks pretty. I'm excited. Comes out in a week. One quick PSA before I log out here. Just remember, strippers don't like you and politicians don't like you. They just want your money. Peace.